Can you guys see me? Because I can't see myself. So I don't know. You see me? Oh, good. Okay. Because my screen's black, so I can't see myself. All right. You guys see me. Good evening, UFOs. Hey, this is not a test. This is rock and roll, right from the Delta to ZMZ. Is that me or does that sound like an old pros recording? Viva the Nang, Viva the Nang, the Nang, me, Nang, me. I'll take a rope and hang me. It's 2100 hours. And what does that mean? Oh my God, it's late in the evening. What are you doing here? Good to see you. Welcome back to the Haunted Sky. This is the live stream and chill episode that has been so highly touted these past 20 minutes or so. Glad to have you. And we're just going to be talking about just kind of whatever the hell, just kind of whatever strikes me, I guess. It doesn't have to be UFO centered or anything like that. Uh, that's not the point of this. And this is just hanging out and just chilling out. This is me being me. As you can tell, I dressed up for the occasion. It feels so nice. The only UFO thing that I had to talk about, I guess I'll just do it now, is the whole nuclear bases and UFOs thing. You ever see like episodes about that? I've watched a bunch of them. Like UFOs seem to be obsessed with nuclear missile bases, stuff like that. And what do they always say? They always say the UFOs show up, hang around, kind of look at everything, shut their stuff down for a little bit, and then they turn it back on and then take off and leave. And, kind of made me think about how what they told me about the reason they take me and what they're doing and things like that. And I wonder if that's their way of telling us that they would never let us have a nuclear war, like it's not up to us. Like you could build the weapons and you could man them and you could monitor them and you could have a minute man, you could have keys and we're going to shut it down. If we see that you're about to let one of these off the chain and end the world, we're going to shut you down. That's what it seems like they were saying is you don't get to have a nuclear war on this planet because it would interfere with their plans, right? And so anyway, that was just a thought I had about that because it seemed to like be a repeating pattern, the same thing that they keep just shutting them down. They don't do anything to anybody or whatever. They just hang around. You don't do anything to them. They shut your missiles down. You freak out. They turn them back on and then they leave again. And it seems like they're trying to send a message to me. I don't know. Call me crazy. But let's see. What else? I don't know if anybody cares about boxing. I really like boxing. And they got the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight. Even if you don't like boxing, you probably still heard about it. That 27-year-old Jake Paul is going to fight 58-year-old Mike Tyson in July. And everybody's like, oh man, it's so controversial. Like it's a pick 'em fight and all this stuff. And I read a comment somebody wrote the other day. They said Jake Paul is an unstoppable force in a nursing home. I mean, like, what's next? You're gonna fight a 58-year-old man, and then what? Go play like Sister Mary's School of the Blind in football for the championship? Like, what are you gonna do? So stupid. But people wonder, like, oh, who's gonna win the fight? And you do kind of wonder in today's age of smoke and mirrors. You have to ask yourself, yeah, like, is this a con? Is this, what is it? Because it's very circus-like, isn't it? A YouTuber fighting his grandfather. I mean, that's basically what we're watching. And so I had the idea that maybe it was going to be fake. I was like, oh, maybe this is a fixed fight, But then I heard Mike Tyson say the scariest words I've ever heard a human being say. That let me know that this is a foregone conclusion. Mike Tyson is going to annihilate, and I mean annihilate, Jake Paul. And the reason I know that that's what's going to happen, and people can say, oh, the fix is in, oh, it's scripted, blah, blah, blah. All your conspiracy theories go to the wayside because of the scariest words I've ever heard a human being say. Mike Tyson said, they said, why are you taking this fight? He said, I'm doing this for legacy. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. You're doing this for legacy. You see, because, you know, people like Jake Paul, like, they don't understand what it's like to come up like how Mike Tyson came up. Hard, poor, broke, struggling in one of the most dangerous environments. He doesn't know anything about that. So he doesn't know anything about legacy. I know about legacy. And that's why his words scared me, because I was the person who inherited Ed Leedskalnin's legacy. And I've tried to make a very good representation of that through my discoveries and my books and things. I know about legacy because I know how I feel about physics, and that I want to be thought of with Leedskalnin and Einstein and Hawking. I want to be up there with them. I don't want to tear anyone down to get there. I just want to be there with them. Legacy matters, right? And, oh, by the way, if you're just joining us, hi, welcome to the live stream. I'm glad you made it. I know it was short notice, but I figured, what else are you doing on a fucking Tuesday? Huh? Might as well hop in. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe, hit the like, drop a comment, say hello, and sit back and just chillax and be yourself, because there's no real agenda tonight. No homework tonight for you guys, okay? But I know about legacy. And when I heard Mike Tyson say that I'm doing this fight for legacy, all of a sudden I realized what he was saying. And I don't think anybody else really is paying attention. Do you think that Mike Tyson, the youngest heavyweight champion in boxing history, doesn't want to be the oldest man as well, who could be talked about contention for the title? I mean, look at Foreman. Foreman did it at what, 40, 44 years old, something like that. And he was like an instant immortal legend, right? Mike Tyson has him beat by 14 years and still looks like a truck, you know? And all of a sudden it hit me. This isn't about money. This isn't about attention. This isn't about a show. Mike Tyson's doing this for legacy. He wants to be the 58-year-old man who still got it. He wants to be the immortal Mike Tyson. And he's going to plow through that boy like wet tissue paper. He going to rip his ass in half. If you look at their workout videos and stuff, like, oh, like do the side-by-side comparison. Oh, I feel so sorry for Jake Paul. Mike Tyson has forgotten more about boxing than Jake Paul will ever know. Jake Paul got beat by an eight fight fighter, had 8 fights, and is okay. He's nothing special. And Jake Paul got his ass handed to him by that guy. Now, as a person who is, let's say, entering the autumn of their years, I can tell you that even at my age, I could be a handful if I want to be. I used to box years ago. I fought amateur. I was the 2-time winner of the Dayton Tough Man contest, a super heavyweight champion. And I was 11-0 with 10 knockouts. And that was 12 years ago, a dozen years ago. Okay. Now, a dozen years ago, I could knock men out with a single blow. I did it. I was very good at it, accidentally. Okay. But that isn't what did it for me. What did it for me was that when I won the Dayton Tough Man contest, they also added the fact that I was the oldest man to ever do it at 40 years old. And then I went back again the next year and won it again, and I became the oldest man to ever win it twice. Legacy. You see, those things like that put you in like your own and like personal Hall of Fame in your head, those things matter because those are the only real trophies that we can carry around with us, isn't it? Our own, what's our own personal trophy shelf look like up there? What are the things that you are the most proud of? Doesn't matter about paper, doesn't matter about money. It doesn't even matter what other people's opinion are. What you think of you is what really matters, right? Because we don't carry around other people's opinion of us. We carry around our own. So what's on that shelf, right? And I think that Mike Tyson wants this very large trophy to put on his shelf to remind him of who he is, that he is still that guy, you know? And I think that he is going to make an example out of that guy. I think he is going to send Jake Paul screaming back to the Disney Channel. I really do. So anyway, I haven't heard anybody give that take on it. But when I was watching some interview with him, you know, and I heard him, they said, "Why are you taking the fight?" He was like, "I'm doing it for legacy. Do you understand? I'm doing it for legacy." And I was like, "Oh shit! Oh, Mike's doing this for real." I don't think nobody's told him he ain't supposed to win because he sure looks like a guy who wants to win real bad. And does Mike Tyson strike you as the kind of person who would go through all this pain, all this trouble, all this sacrifice to not win? I don't think so. Yeah. Yeah, Chris, legacies matter. Can't take all that away. That's right. Because the things that we're the most proud of, that we hold the most dear, that we're the proudest of about ourselves, those are the things that can't be stripped away from you, right? Nobody can take away. Like I have a certain list of things that I've accomplished in my life that I hold on to, because that's who you are, right? I was in counseling one time, and the counselor said, because I I don't always have a fantastic opinion of myself and stuff. I act like I do, but I mean I don't. I like to pretend that I think I'm hot shit, but I'm just a guy. And but I can sometimes do like impossible things, right? And so the counselor said, "Here's what I want you to do. I want you to write down 10 things that you are the most proud of. What are your 10 biggest accomplishments?" Okay. And so I did that. I made the list and I took it back in. And they said, and the counselor said, "Read the list." So I read the list, and she read the list. And she was like, "I want you to keep this in your pocket. And every time you start feeling bad about yourself or you start doubting yourself, I want you to take this list out and I want you to look at it and I want you to read it over again, because this is who you are. What you've done is who you are, right? What you've accomplished. You are not your biggest failures. You are your greatest successes. That's who you really are." And that really helped me. And I did that for a while. I don't need to now, because I kind of have a little bit better self-esteem now and things like that I've worked on. But for a while, that's what I did. And I would take that out and remind myself, you're the guy who did that. You did that. Who else could do this? And like things that I know that I have added to the collective, right? Things that can't ever be changed or taken away. And that's a very good feeling. Yeah, feel free to use anything I say if you think it's going to help. I'm not a counselor by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just a middle-aged man who's made a lot of mistakes. So the only thing that comes with that is wisdom, I guess you could say, right? And if there's anybody new joining us, I'd like to say hello and welcome. Please drop a like, a subscribe, drop a comment in the live chat if you want to say hello. Be glad to have you here. Live chat's brought to you by Beneath the Haunted Sky, the evidence for alien abduction, by moi, yours truly, and it's available on Amazon. So please make sure you support the channel and support the author and support people who are coming forward with their abduction truth and their abduction reality by supporting them and supporting their experiences. Let's see. What else we talk about? We could talk about comic books. We could talk about Harry Potter lore, theories. Anybody got any good conspiracy theories, or I don't know, whatever you want, I guess. And that's why it's important to participate in the chat, because on this one, it's kind of self-guided. Failure separate. Yeah, see, that's not a failure. That's a happy accident, right? That's what he would say. Happy accidents, guys. That's how it is. Here, you want me to do some ASMR for you? Hey, how's it going? What's up? I don't know how to do it. Yeah, I know there's a lot of conspiracies. But are there any? Oh, here's one. Oh, can I talk about a conspiracy theory real quick? So, the triangular UFO that I showed you drawings of that I saw years and years ago, compared that in British, please. Hello, Chris. Welcome to the live stream. We're very glad to have you here. Now, please, relax and simply enjoy the remainder of the broadcast. There you go. How's that? But in all seriousness, the Yupan Triangle, it's called, right? And it was seen in 1996, I think, was the first time, and they have pictures of it. It's from Yupan, Belgium, and so they called it the Yupan Triangle. And everybody has been saying, oh, that's the TR-3B. It's secret government plane that they're, testing over the densest human populations possible, right? So there is no. I'm just going to break this down for all of the people who keep saying this. There is no TR-3B. There isn't one. And you know how I know there isn't one? Is because you have not produced one. You could produce a drawing of one, a rendering of one. You cannot produce a photograph, a video. Hell, just give me plans. Do we have plans for the TR-3B? Is there anything about the TR-3B that isn't on a drawing board? No. Well, it's funny to me how people want to sit there and just rip on whatever the hell they want to just throw shit at the board and go, oh, that's a TR-3. Oh, that's government, this or that. That's this and this. But you ever notice that the people who are the naysayers, who say they're the skeptics, they're supposed to be the educated ones, right? Telling us poor, dumb reality experiencers what's going on, but they provide absolutely not a shred of fucking evidence for it. They want you to prove everything to the gills, but their explanations need no proof whatsoever. That seems, what's the word? Gaslighting. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, it's shit like that that drives me up a wall with people who pretend to be experts but have no evidence, no education, no experience. You're talking out your ass, right? There's no TR-3B. There never was, right? Yeah, I know. Poor us, poor reality experiencers. Please come and explain to me the error of my ways. It's like how people say, "Oh, they're not aliens. They're humans from the future." Like, get the fuck out of here. Come on, guys. Come on. And what you see, it's very interesting though, in a way, with all of these explanations that people say that they have who haven't been told that, or they've never met these guys. Like, if they saw one of these guys, they would shit a chicken. Okay, they're not prepared. Well, that's the thing. That it's this, you see the symptom of their psychology when they tell you, oh, they're not extraterrestrial, they're extra dimensional. Oh, they're not really aliens, they're us from the future. You see, everything has to be about us. You notice that? That really annoys me about people, is that everything has to be so human centric. Like, we are not the center of the universe. We're not even the center of our own galaxy. We're not the center of anything. And isn't that what we have learned over time through science? That at first we thought we were the center of everything, and the far more we learn, the less important we discover that we really are in the overall scheme of things. Don't you think that's interesting? It shows a clear delineation, I think, in the psychological evolution of our culture. We're talking about people who really see all the facts. Like, this is, when you talk about trying to get the populace to get on board with the reality of UFOs, it's never been about facts. It's never been about evidence, because you got little kids who believe in Santa Claus. You got grown people who believe in invisible gods. You don't need evidence. Evidence has never been a requirement for belief, ever, when it comes to human beings. It's not a matter of evidence. It's a matter of people tend to believe what they want to believe. And when you hear what people say about aliens, it's because they're telling you not the truth, but what they want to believe, because they have hit the limit. They've maxed out their bandwidth on what they can psychologically tolerate as far as reality. They've hit their reality limit, right? That's what it is. They can't go any farther than they must be us from the future. Like, us from the future would give a shit about us from the past. Okay? Who would want to go back and visit the Dark Ages? Anybody? No? Me either. Me either. There's nothing in 1561 that really, makes me interested in going back there. Yeah. Oh, Chris, I love that. Chris. Mwah, mwah. You get extra ASMR. Reality ceiling. They have hit their reality ceiling. That's a great phrase. They have maxed out the limit of their reality. And that's fucking terrifying. As a person who feels like they have a pretty good grip on reality, I'm able to accept things the way they are as much as possible, where other people, they cannot. And so they start making up their own version of something that's more palatable to them, saying, well, they're extra dimensional. Well, if they're extra dimensional, then if they live in a completely different dimension, that seems to make them extraterrestrial. Oh, well, they're occupying the same space time. They're just in a different frequency. Like, can you please fucking stop? Please stop. Okay? People who have not experienced this, again, they're the realtor outside looking in the window of the house instead of asking the person who's lived there for 40 years. You want to try to describe the tiny window of things you see and think that gives you a complete narrative, and ignoring the complete narrative of other people who have been from the inside looking out for a long, long time. And this is the problem, is we got too many people who are being purported as experts who have no expertise, who have no experience, who have no evidence of any of their experiences. And yet they're the people who are, because they're a brand, right? They're a brand. They get the attention. Yeah. You know who I do like? You know who I don't like. You know I don't like Neil deGrasse Tyson. You know I don't like Stephen fucking Greer. It fucking and you know what though? I've noticed more and more people are catching on to the idea that he's shady as shade. He's the real Slim Shady, because uh, I was watching some video. It just happened to come up like automatically, and it was him, and I was like, ugh. And I went over to the comments, and I was like, do people buy the shit? And, oh my god, no. Oh my God, he gets so panned now. Like nobody really wants to hear what the hell he's saying. That people will tune in to watch him, but not because they believe him. It's to hear how much horseshit one person can spew. That's really what it is. It's not information, it's morbid curiosity. And we're like literally watching pathology, like sociopathology at work. It's fascinating. But you know who I do like? I like Billy Carson. Uh, I like Graham Hancock. I like, uh, people like uh, Eric Von Daniken. These are people who are serious about being scholars and experts in their field, you know? And it's funny. The more I hear, I just started like really like somebody said, you know who you remind me of? You remind me of Billy Carson. And I was like, who the fuck is Billy Carson? I don't even know that. And I started watching. I'm like, oh shit, I do sound like this guy. Only his is like more, um, oh, his is more about the esoteric knowledge that's been hidden, like for the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, and more like historical, esoteric, archaeo-religious type of things. But I could see the similarity because the way he like drops bombs on people with this stuff is how I kind of do with science, physics and UFOs and stuff. And what I noticed, the thing that we both have in common is that we both are pretty good at making axiomatic arguments. Like you can say what you want, but when I say this, you're gonna have to go, oh shit, that is right. Like, no, there's other facts that you're not taking into consideration. And he makes really good arguments for his assertions, and he backs it up with evidence and history. And I try to do that with science and physics and UFOs, And so I was like, oh, I see why you say we're kind of the same. He has a much smoother delivery, you know. He's got the Denzel look, but the Morgan Freeman voice, It's like, come on. It's not even fair. I got the I don't know. I got the Forrest Gump face and the Danny DeVito delivery. It's like it's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. I'm good. Billy Carson is a genius. You don't have to be handsome too. Good. It's not fair. Not fair, Billy. But again, why do I like these people? Why do I respect them? Randall Carlson, Robert Schoch, Robert Bivall, Edward Leedskalnin. Why do I hold them in such high regard? Legacy. These are people who care about a legacy. They don't care about your 20 fucking dollars. These guys are trying to sell you an app. They're trying to get the truth to you, right? Because that's their legacy. That's what they want to carry around in their head. That's what I carry around in my head, is what I have done to help my fellow man. That's worth more than anything. You got to survive. You got to eat. You got to pay your bills, right? You have to have practical, you have to have a practical mindset. This is why, I sell my book instead of give it away. Because if I was rich, I'd give it away. But I'm not, so I got to sell it. But what I'm selling you is the truth. It's not an app on your phone that tries to convince you that you can talk to aliens with your brain. Fuck out of here. What are you talking about? You see, and that autistic part of me that just rubs me wrong, man. Like, you can't do people like that. You can't just outright fucking lie to people like that. And there are so many gullible people that it actually makes them a good living, you know? But I can't be like that. I'd rather live honest. It's a harder life. And believe me, if I was an opportunistic person, this could go way different direction, right? But because I'm just real and just straight up about everything, like, I'm going to get there. It's just going to take me longer, but that's all right. I don't care about that, because I don't know if you've noticed, but I've been picking up steam lately. There might be only 3 people in this live stream, but man, I'm getting some eyes on me. People are starting to listen and go, hey, that guy, listen, have you heard this guy? And that helps. I love when people like recommend me, suggest me to other people or whatever. Like, that's such a compliment. And it also shows that you picked a side, right? Like, when I tell you that I don't like Stephen Greer, I have no respect for Stephen Greer whatsoever. He would not want to be in the same elevator with me. I could tell you that. Neil deGrasse Tyson is a pompous ass of a human being who has contributed nothing to the realm of science worth even mentioning. I've contributed more to physics than Neil deGrasse Tyson. Yet, he's on TV and I'm on a YouTube channel, right? But that's not going to be that way forever. People are noticing. Important people are noticing. And they're starting to listen. And they're going to be like, you know what? Give Captain Reality a chance over here, because people seem to be ready for it, right? Enough of the prelude, enough foreplay. Let's get to this. Let's start talking real with people and not trying to be a brand all the time. I'm not trying to be a brand. Oh, shit. That reminds me. And I haven't talked to John about this yet. I think he's been out of town or something. But we did that really good podcast the other day. You guys watched it. I know you did. But it said something on there. He said 160 IQ. Remember him saying that? I think it's even in the title of the damn video. For the record, I never said my IQ was 160. I've never said what it is. One of the reasons I don't say what it is because there isn't a reliable score. I'm classified untestable, which means they cannot score me. They can give an estimate, which is what they did. And the estimate of my IQ is in what's considered to be the very superior category. Okay? But I never said my IQ was 160. He said that. I think he's estimating what he thinks it is. But I want you to know I never said that. And I cannot and I will not confirm or deny. And I'm going to tell you why. Because of a single word. Legacy. Okay? Legacy matters. You see, it doesn't matter what your IQ is. It really doesn't. It's not if it's simply about the number. All right? If I told you the number, I think you'd go, oh. But I don't care about that, because there are people who have a higher IQ than me. You ever heard of Marilyn Vos Savant? Marilyn Vos Savant is supposed to be the smartest living person in the world. Name one thing she's done besides write about how smart she is. Name one contribution to science, to physics. She's not cured a disease. She's not built a better mousetrap. To my knowledge, she has contributed nothing to the world except writing about how intelligent she is, but doing nothing with it. So to her, that number is very important. Was her IQ's like 200 or something? That number should be very important, but it's not. Because what good is all that ass, but you can't shake it? At a certain point, I say, I'm not the number. I'm what I did with it. When I can say I wrote a #1 bestseller in the physics of gravity, when I can say I'm the undisputed champion of the Coral Castle research because of all my absolutely staggering scientific findings, when I can say I cracked his book that was encoded with Enigma code with a pencil and a piece of paper. See, I don't want to be associated with a number. I want to be associated with legacy. Neil deGrasse Tyson is a plaything to me. I just literally chainsawed through Cyman Dan like he was not even there. I poked through him like a Japanese doorway. Okay? He was nothing to me. Neil deGrasse Tyson, don't want none. I wrote a #1 bestseller in astronomy that knocked him out of his #1 spot while trashing him in my book to do it, and you will never hear him say my name. I took Michio Kaku to task on his denial of UFO subject and about the trouble that physics is in. You think he don't know who I am? You really think that? You think that me and Michio Kaku were on the same show, the same episode of the same show? Huh? Not only were we on the same episode of the same show, but they put him on right after me talking about the same subject, confirming what I said about magnetism, because that's what Ed said about magnetism. And Michio Kaku was forced to agree with me on the show. You think he don't know who I am? And one of my real good friends on here, shout out to IQ TV. I can't remember the last 4 numbers. IQ TV something, but that's his name, IQ TV. Guy's been hanging around for a while. He's a good guy, and he said, "You're not being ignored. You're being avoided." And I was like, "Oh shit, that's real. Oh, that just felt real, because that's right. These people know who I am. But I don't have enough of a pull or an audience to really make a dent in them yet, you see. But you know what I don't know about any of them? Is what their IQ is. I don't know their IQ. I know their accomplishments. I know what they do and what they can do. And I surpass them. So if I can teach physics to Neil deGrasse Tyson, if I can call out all of the flaws in Michio Kaku's arguments and show you all the blind spots that he has, if I can show you and correct the flaws in Einsteinian and Newtonian physics, I'm not a number. You don't compare me with numbers. You compare me with names. See, that's how you know when somebody really is legit. They don't say, "Oh, there goes the guy with the," like what would you say? Like you got a little guy, right? You got a little guy, and he comes up with some clever little scientific thing. Well, what would you say? You'd say, "Oh, there's my little 160 IQ," or would you say, "Oh, there's a little Einstein right there," right? You don't compare them with a number. You compare them with a name. You compare legacy with legacy. You see? Because you might be able to match my number, but match my accomplishments. Because at the end of it, nobody's going to say, "Here lies R.L. Poole. He had a 160 IQ." No. When they buried Ed, did they say, "Here lies Ed Leedskalnin, IQ of 176"? No. Here lies Ed Leedskalnin, builder of the Coral Castle. Legacy, not numbers. So, and I'm not, I guess, a little like, I don't know, not annoyed, but like, with it is people always want to boil things down to a number, It's like saying that because someone's a certain weight that they're like now if you're the same weight as Mike Tyson, well, then you're the heavyweight champion of the world too. No, it doesn't work that way. You got to do what that person did to get their legacy. Am I right? Am I right or am I right or am I right? Right. I have my glasses on. Tattoos, piercings. I don't know. I like what I'm reading so far. What's going on? Uh-oh. Somebody's getting tattoos and piercings. God forbid young adults grow up, want to live life. Hey, kids, whatever you do not get tattoos or you will look fucking cool just like I do. You're like, I'm sorry. I'm a bad example. But, that's the other thing, too. You get fucking profiled. Get profiled. Like when I was on TV, I was like, you guys don't care that I'm all like tatted up and everything. And they were like, oh, no problem. I was like, oh, maybe the world's starting to get cool. Maybe they actually see past my exterior and are so blown away by the no, they were just going to have me wear extremely long sleeves in 86-degree weather and keep my hands in my lap and told me I can't talk with my hands, which basically renders me mute, if you haven't noticed. It's all about the branding, not about the info. That's why legacy is important, because legacy outlasts branding. How, at one time, like Mike Tyson's face tattoo, it was like, oh my God, it was such a horrific, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. And now it's like, it's the symbol, right? Like that's his symbol now. And sometimes what you think are your greatest mistakes are actually the keys to your greatest breakthroughs. Yeah. And, you are an enigma. Oh, I don't know that I am. I think I'm just a normal person. Well, I'm not normal. I'm neurodivergent. But you know what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm not Superman. People always ask me questions like, some jerkface. He asked me his comment. He's like, well, if what you say is true, then how come they don't like do? I don't know what he say. Why don't they modify their own genetics? And I'm like, fuck you asking me for? Like, what? This sounds like more of a them question to me. Like, what are you talking? Why are you asking me? I'm not their spokesman. I'm not, like the galactic maitre d' who's here to like answer every question. I'm not the oracle. I'm just the messenger. I'm just telling you what they said to me as like exactly as I possibly can. And like, I don't know, you deal with it. Just like me. Do you have a lot of questions? Me too. Now you know how I feel. And so it's like people like that, like kind of, I don't understand. Like people want to put it on you that you have to be the one to explain all of this. I can't explain all of it to you. I can describe it to you, but I can't explain it all. Bernie from San Diego. What's going on, sir? Nice to see you. You're very cool too. Thank you for being here. I'm not going to go super long tonight. I might go 15, 30 more minutes, depending on what we, have to talk about. I'm just on here blowing off steam. And I just thought other people, like, no pressure tonight, no homework, no big, stressful stuff. Just talk about whatever we want to talk about. It's nice to just have a relaxing night. You can just sit back and do whatever you're doing and just listen to me run my face. You let me do all the work, Participate as you please, but only at your pleasure. Somebody asked me, do tattoos have anything? Do they feel any kind of way about tattoos or whatever? No. It's never kept them from abducting me. That's all I know. So I know, like in the Bible, which I consider to be a lot of it has to do with misunderstood extraterrestrial experiences that were explained in superstitious terms because science was not even a concept at the time. It said, do not make any graven marks upon you and things like that. And they had a whole lot of what we would call weird rules, you know. But if you look at a lot of the rules from like the Old Testament, things like that, you know, about like not eating pork and don't get tattoos. So, yeah, a lot of these things had to do with bloodborne contagion, about sanitation, about preventing infection. You know, you wanted an antibiotic back then, you got a rat turd with a little seasoned salt on it. Like they didn't have medicine, you know, and medicine is a fairly recent thing, which is why, you know, life expectancies are going up and, you know, people are able to live with certain kinds of diseases longer. There was no medicine back then. So what these were, seems like very rough and ready guidelines of don't eat pork because pork gets trichinosis. It spoils super quick. It'll kill you, you know. Don't get tattoos because you're breaking the skin repeatedly and leaving it open to getting infected. You know, I think these were just basic like health rules. They weren't about. I really don't think that if there were an all powerful creator, that they would deny me bacon. I can't believe that of a creator. San Diego, Joshua Burke. Oh, you and Bernie, you guys travel in pairs everywhere. When I see one, I see the other, and you're both in San Diego. Nice to see you. So, you know, we can't pretend that we have all the answers. This is what bad people do. Bad people pretend to have all the answers. Bad people are never wrong. That's how you know they're bad. When people can't say they make a mistake, when people can't say, oh, I don't understand, when people can't say, I wish I could explain that, but I don't have anything for you on that, that's the person you listen to. Because if I'm going to tell you what I don't know, you better believe when I tell you what I do, that it's going to be really good. You can really bank on it. That's the hallmark of honesty, is the fact that you can admit you don't know every damn thing. And I don't. I know that. Hey, Bernie, Joshua, drop me a like, guys. You want to come in? Thank you for saying hello. I'm glad that you're here. Drop a like, you know, do the whole thing for me because it really helps out. I know it's very small numbers, you know, but it just kind of makes me feel better because I know that you're really in it, you know? So I appreciate that. Living authentic. Yeah. Just being the real you. I can't be anybody else. Something about autism just doesn't. You can mask. Like I could be like I guess a more housebroken version of myself, but I'm still going to be me. Like I may not say what I'm thinking, but I am not responsible for what my face is doing while you're talking. Like you're going to know that I'm not going to, you know, or whatever. If I have a problem or if I like what you said, like I can't hide who I am. Why would I? Why would I? You know, it just doesn't even occur to me. I only do it when, you know, somebody I trust gives me the look like, you've been going on about 20 minutes now. But we can't all be smooth operators in the world, okay? And I'm not. I'll be the first to admit to you, not a smooth operator. I have rough edges, you know? But my heart's in it 100%. Like if you hear me talk about the stuff that I've been through and you don't believe me, like, well, it's okay, but man, you don't know the truth when you hear it. Like that must be a scary world you live in when you don't know the truth when you hear it. When somebody can legitimately look you in the eye 100% and say, this is the truth. And you go, that guy's a scam. Like bullshit, man. Like, no, you're the scam. You're the scam. You refused. Your refusal to believe doesn't mean that I'm less than honest. Yeah, you know what I mean? again, it's kind of a psychological barrier that people hit. Let's see. Love that about you, RL. So much BS in the world. So confused you can't deal with it. Yeah, and it's like when you find a pure source, like you're like, oh, it's like a spring in the desert, you know? Authenticity is the highest human vibration, Joshua Bork. Oh, I like that. I like that. By a long shot, it's not love. Yeah. Well, you know, love, authenticity is love, though. You know, like that's why I do it, because I do love you guys. I love being a good person, and I love me, and I love you, and I want to be real. I have a cat. He's the most amazing cat. His name is Laszlo Jesk Cravensworth, and he's a Sphinx, and I love him dearly. You know why I love him? He has the best damn personality of any cat I've ever seen. He is happy and affectionate and sweet and completely fearless, which terrifies me that he's like so nice and he fears nothing. Like that's power, because he's his authentic self and he's fearlessly himself. And that's how I want to be, fearlessly me, right? And you should be fearlessly you at all times. To hell with what other people think. To hell with what other people think. I don't care if somebody says they don't believe me. That don't change my opinion. It doesn't change my opinion of it. It doesn't change the facts. It doesn't change my opinion of the truth. When I know the truth, I'm not going to change my story to suit what I hope other people believe or whatever. No. And he's so handsome. You're damn right he is. He's a little lady killer, that one. My little Laszlo. Monkey. I just call him Monkey because he climbs on me all the time. He's like a little hairless thing almost climbing on me. He's a little grossy sometimes, but he's cute. But to be fearlessly ourselves, that's what's going to take us to the promised land. It's not going to be government disclosure. It's never going to happen. They have way too much dirty laundry, because you can't just let a little bit of the cat out of the bag, right? It's got to be all or nothing. In science, they can't admit that they have it wrong, because now the whole house of cards comes crumbling down, and they're pushing it out and stalling for time, and you know, and they want to keep pushing it on until they've gotten everything they can get out of it without having to pay any consequences. Everybody wants to live in this cardboard house and try to get out and, you know, die in the house and be taken out before it starts raining. And it ain't going to happen. The rain is here. It's here. And it's people like me and people like Graham and Randall Carlson and Robert Bivol, Robert Schock, and like, you know, I'm so tired of hearing disclosure is coming. I know, right? Disclosure is the worst, is an escort's worst nightmare, because disclosure keeps claiming it's coming, but it never does. Please. There's no disclosure. Lou Elizondo, guys like that, in one breath, they'll be like, oh, disclosure 2024. Oh, there's no stopping it. Oh, no. And then the next thing and then the very next day, the Pentagon has a hearing that says aliens aren't even real. Like, dude, they're making you pee on your own feet, man. Like, have some dignity. Stop saying stupid shit. Like, tell us if you know something, tell us what you know. But don't tell me what the government's going to do, because I already know. Because I'm in it deeper than you are, Mr. Elizondo. No disrespect. I know you think that you're a badass because you were in ATIP or Arrow or whatever one of those agencies is called. I know far more than you. And I know how deep this is, and they're not going to tell us. Joshua, that's you, and that's good, but some people are not much love, but still authentic. Oh, no, I know what you mean. Some people aren't like overly. Yeah. I know what you mean. I believe you 100%. I bought your book right after you wrote your. Oh, thanks, Josh. I hope you like it. Tell me what make sure to leave me a review. Tell me what you think. Parts that like you felt especially were good, or maybe you didn't understand, or whatever. Feel free to reach out. But yeah, there's no disclosure coming, guys. Disclosure's here, but it's me giving it to you. It's people like me who actually have lived it, who has evidence and experiences and like tons of information, like inside baseball, the stuff that you're not going to get from fucking Lou Elizondo or Stephen Greer, and hell no, not from Neil deGrasse Tyson. And like I just laugh because I think, Stephen Greer talks about his CE5 experiences. Let me tell you something. If Stephen Greer got abducted by aliens, he would shit a chicken. This guy would not have what it takes, because it ain't easy. Okay? I am an extreme trauma survivor. There's a reason I am the way I am. And I know that I am worlds tougher than Dr. Stephen Greer, and it hasn't been very easy for me. I know what these experiences do to you. They take a toll, and a guy like him, he's not built like that. You can just tell that he ain't built like that. This is such a very special channel. You are so real. It's the best ever. Oh, thank you. It's like nice, just, I could just be like whoever. I could just be myself and not be masked. Just, be myself for change. And if I can't be me, maybe, perhaps, I could be you. But no, that's when, like, I think the most truth kind of comes through too, is when you're just being yourself. You're just relaxed about it. And, it doesn't have to be so stiff or formal all the time. And that's another thing, like, it goes kind of against the whole brand. Like, shouldn't I be dressed up right now and selling you some app that you can get with a QR code? You know what I mean? Like, that's what people want to turn you into. And I'm not one of the fucking Borg, man. I'm just not. I'm not. I'm a unicorn in human form, and I'm not going to change. I'm not going to change. I'm a unicorn in human form, and you can't do nothing about it. So we might as well work with it, right? Like, I could show up in a t-shirt and still be smart. Like, it doesn't make me less intelligent to wear a t-shirt, right? You know what I mean? It's like people have all these like weird rules, right, that I just break all the time. That, you can rock the shit out of this world in your footy pajamas. You can do it. Like, it doesn't make any difference, But you gotta wear the costume. You have to put on the mask. You have to sound the right way, right? You have to preach it from the mountain. Or can you just be a real person and say, hey, listen, sit down, grab a cup of coffee. I want to talk to you about something. Aliens are real, and I know, because they take me. And I'm going to talk to you about that. And I'm going to tell you everything that's happened. That way, if anything ever happens to you, you'll understand what's going on. Can we just do that? Does it have to be supervised or approved? This is the thing. It's like people say, I don't trust the government, and then then demand answers from the government. Do you hear yourself? You're gonna demand answers from the place lies to you. It's like catching your husband walking out of a whorehouse and saying, tell me the truth. Are you cheating on me? Like, do the math. Do you really have to hear the words from them, the untrustable source, wherever nobody trusts the government, but you want them to tell you the truth? Make up your mind, pick a lane, and get fucking serious. Stop asking liars for the truth. Stop asking liars to tell you the truth. Liars are liars, and they're always going to lie. And that's the way it is. You have disclosure. You just got to change who you want your information from. Why would you want it from them anyway? I'd rather hear it from a friend. Wouldn't you? That's what I say. I'd rather hear it from a friend. If I got to get bad news, I'd rather a friend tell me than a stranger. But, yeah, I mean, if you say that the government's lying, and they are, boy are they, then stop thinking that you're going to get the truth out of these fucking people. You're not. The Pentagon, you could have all the Congress hearings in the world and, oh, we're going to get to the bottom of this, and you're just being jerked off, man. You're just being scammed. They're just kicking the can down the road with this any minute now shit, you know, and it's never going to happen. I guarantee it's not. So why don't you get the information from people who are willing to give it to you, who actually have evidence that their information is to be relied on, that you can take some comfort in the fact that that guy's not lying. And then learn from those people as much as you can. That's your disclosure. I even thought about maybe we should sue the government for allowing us to be abducted and then denying the fact that it's happening. They're complicit. Is there any other way to see it? When you know that they know about these things, I have personally watched their military engage UFO craft. They know about it. So you know about it and you keep letting it happen and you pretend it doesn't exist, then you are complicit in all of these crimes of abduction, of assault. They're complicit and therefore culpable. And maybe I can't hold them responsible, but I could hold the government responsible since they are aiding and abetting these crimes. Hey, Cody, how's it going? Most couldn't wrap their minds around it. That's right. That's the issue that we're facing, is people reach their reality ceiling, right, Chris? People reach their reality ceiling and they tap the fuck out after that. They just can't. Their bandwidth is completely maxed out. They can't do it. And it's horseshit. I know they're scared, but you know what? You know what's scary? Being abducted. Like, I feel like I'm really trying to help people out. Like, you don't even have to go through all this shit to know what I know. I had to. You get a sweatless victory, man. Like, you get to know all about it. And by the way, if you're new coming into the chat, hello. Thank you for coming in, saying hi. Drop a like, and glad to have you here. Yes, it is scary. But you know why it's scary? Because nobody knows what the hell is going on. Ignorance makes people afraid. We fear what we don't understand. And the reason we don't understand this is because we're not listening to the right people. We keep demanding answers from the ones who won't give it to us and then ignoring the answers that come from reliable sources. And it's all from the same thing. Everybody's afraid. Well, here's what I can tell you. I'm not afraid. There was a time when I was. I'll say that I dreaded being abducted and that feeling of helplessness and worried about my family. I went through a lot of that. You want to hear something crazy I did once? It's funny. So I was in Ohio and I was near, I'd rather know the truth. Yeah. It's because you're brave. Stay that way because it'll be a benefit to you. But I was living by Wright Pat Air Force Base, and I was being taken so much that it was really fucking stressing me out. I was like starting to lose my shit. Um, and I was obsessed with like catching them in the act and stuff. Um, so what I did, and when I talked to my wife about it, she treated me like I was crazy, even though she knew I wasn't lying. She knew I would never lie to her about something like that. Do I love you? Yeah, sure, I might lie about that, but not this. Okay. No, yeah, you're a wonderful cook, but seriously, this is happening. And so she like was really gaslighting me and like kind of like put me down and stuff about it. And so I was like, okay. So I used to really enjoy mowing the lawn. I know that's an odd thing. It's kind of very like stereotypically autistic, but I really enjoyed mowing the lawn. I enjoyed. I would do like the crisscross and make it look like a baseball field. Like it was. I would go to every length. I was very particular about it. And so I decided that I was going to send a message to those to whom it was intended. And so what I did was I went in the garage and I got a claw hammer. And I went out in my beautifully manicured lawn in the back where they were landing and fucking it up anyway. And I started digging. Right? I just started digging and making lines. And the lines that I made ended up being a fist with a middle finger like this. And underneath it, it said UFOs. Basically, letting them know, I know you're here and I don't really appreciate you. You could see it from the air. You could probably see it from space. Because fuck that. I love you too, Gypsy. I love all you guys, man. And I'm glad you're here. Yeah, right. Like, isn't that funny? Like, I just decided, like, how about I just troll these guys for a change? Like, that was the only thing I could do was just troll them. But I feel like it was pretty successful because my wife hated that I did that. And I'm like, what do you care? You can't see it from the ground. You can only see it from the air. Are you worried that someone's going to see it from the air that you know and know it's me? Is that what you're worried about? Because she was always very worried about her job and about me making too much noise about what was going on. It was very, I need to be quiet. Yeah. Surprisingly, we didn't last. I know. I painted it on my roof on my last. There you go. I just painted a middle finger. I literally painted this or like dug it out, carved it in the yard. And I mean, it was huge. It was probably like the whole thing was probably like 80 feet with the big letters UFOs. Fuck you. Like I let them know, I know you. I know you're here. I know you land here. Don't appreciate you. Get off my lawn. I told the UFOs to get off my lawn. Now they didn't listen, but hey, what are you going to do? Yeah, she knew. I know. Yeah, absolutely, she knew. And she was trying to gaslight me because she's like, I work at Wright Pat and I can't have this. And I'm like, you can't have this. Try being me. Right? Try being me. Oh, I want to remind you guys, still doing the fundraiser for the polygraph. If you go to buymeacoffee.com/haunted sky, every donation you make in the comments, you can write a question and I will answer those questions. However many I have, I will answer them live on 4/20 at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be doing a live stream after my interview with Rob Khalil on Typical Skeptic podcast at 8 p.m. So I'll be on Typical podcast at 8 p.m. and then I'll be doing my own live stream afterwards at 11. And at 11, I'll be answering all the questions I get from the donations for the polygraph. So I'll put a link. Please participate if you can. It's like $1, $3, $5. Any donation you can ask a question, and I'll read your name and your question, and I'll answer it live on 420, which is going to be a great time. I'm looking forward to it. And if nobody asks any questions, well, then I'll just have a live stream where I just sit here. I'll just sit here and do nothing. I can do that. But I appreciate your guys' support. You guys haven't let me down yet. I know that. I mean, you know, when I wrote the book, I was like, this book is just like out of the blue, man. Like it's just random. It just seemed like, it just came out of me. It just came out of nowhere. And I was like, it'd be awesome is if I could, if this book would become number one. Like if I could write another bestseller, like that would be cool, right? It's a big ask because it's out of nowhere. And it became a number one bestseller in UFOs because of you guys, because like George had me on and like people were giving me like Jeff Mara, Rob Khalil, like these guys were really giving me some time. And, it bumped it up and I have all these new folks here now, all my new friends. And the book became number one in UFOs. And I was like, yeah, but you know what I'd really like, universe? I'd like to just knock Neil deGrasse Tyson off his throne and on his ass just one time. Can I just get a one time? And the universe said, well, how would we do that? I said, well, what if my book was number one in astronomy? Where Neil deGrasse Tyson's book is currently number one in astronomy, and my book is like destroying him. What if my book criticizing him actually knocks him out of his number one spot? Wouldn't that be a message? And the universe said, you know what? I like the cut of your jib, young man. I like the way you think. And you guys made it happen for me. I'm so proud of that. That's one of those trophies in my head. It's like, how do you write that down on a resume? But when I tell it to you, you go, oh shit, that's cold. That's cool. That's really cool. And it's stuff like that I carry with me. Those victories of like, there is hope here. There is hope. We can turn this around. We are turning it around. Every subscriber I get, every like, every share, every person who's like, I heard you and I went and bought your book and I read it. And oh shit. Yeah. Hey, you're authentic. You're honest. You tell the truth. You say if you don't know shit, like you're not a scam. Maybe I'm not beautiful. Maybe I'm not polished, but I'm real. Now you could go to a fancy restaurant and get a beautiful plate with damn near nothing on it. Or would you rather come in grandma's kitchen and get you some home cooking? Now it ain't pretty. It ain't always beautiful. But what wouldn't you trade for that plate? Right? It don't have to be pretty to be good, to be real, and to nourish you. Right? That's right. Some soul food. This is your extraterrestrial soul food here. I'm here to cash your reality check. Is what I'm here to do. You want reality? Hand that check over. I'll cash it for you. Because the bank's full of money to give you, right? And as long as you guys keep giving back, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm looking forward to the Way 126 experience. I guess they're going to be coming out with my interview soon. So be on alert for that. I'll post an announcement in the comments. So make sure you have the notifications on. Right now, I have some other place that wanted to like get with me or whatever, but I don't know if the timing is going to work out at the moment. But I think it's called Mysterious Radio or something like that. So I'll look into that. Rob Khalil's coming up. And then on the 27th, next month, a month from now, the Einstein Who Lecture Tour begins in Harrisburg, PA. I'm really looking forward to that. And I don't care if 4 people show up. I will give those 4 people their damn money's worth. I know that. I have a feeling Has anybody ever seen in the chat? Just type 1 if you've seen the movie Stargate. Just type 1 if you've seen it. If you haven't, you need to watch it. But there's a character. What's his name? Arnold Jackson, Dr. Jackson, who's people say I look like that guy. What is his? What's his name? James Spader. Yeah. Yeah, it's James Spader, who people say I look like, actually. And I think I do actually kind of look like James Spader. And I can sound like him, too. It's all in here. It's all in this part, you know. But the Dr. Jackson reference that I'm making is at the beginning of the movie, he's giving a lecture, and he's giving this, and he's like a renegade, but he's brilliant. And he's giving this lecture about linguistics and the kingdom of the fourth dynasty. And, you know, all these academics are in there, and they're asking him these questions, and he has very unusual answers for them, or he admits he doesn't know the answer to something. And they all get up and like walk out, but he's like the smartest one in the room, and he's actually right. And I feel like that's, even if it went like that, I wouldn't care. You know, I just want to get out there and start doing the work. And those who want to hear me can hear, and those who don't want to, well, if you're not ready, you're not ready. I can't make you get ready. I won't make you get ready. I'll just be here for you when you are. What else can I do? You know, it's like children. You can't make them do right. You can't make them do things. You can only try to make them want to. Right? That's all we can do. And thank you for being here with me for a little while. I really enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun. It's been an hour, almost hour, 20 minutes, and it's just flown by like that. So while this wasn't the most glamorous presentation in the world, I hope there's a couple little nuggets in there that you can take away. And also make sure, bet on Mike Tyson to win. That's all I can tell you. By murder, not even by knockout. If Jake Paul lives, he did it wrong. But I'm going to get off of here. Guys, thanks for being here with me. Thanks for your comments, your likes, your subscribes, for buying the book, for participating, for putting your money where your mouth is. That's what it's all about. And as long as you keep helping and supporting, I will keep doing the work. I'll keep spreading the truth, and I'll keep being as authentic as I am now. And I'm actually authentically hungry, so I'm gonna go. But I hope you guys have a great night, and I certainly enjoyed having your company for a little while. As always, I am your humble servant, R.L. Poole. And until we meet again, keep looking up.